Halloween! It's that time of year again. Probably my favorite holiday. It's that time of year you just sit down on the couch with your partner and watch some scary movies. Oh wait, I'm lonely. My favorite horror franchise has definitely gotta be Halloween. You know the one with Michael Myers? You know the one with Michael Myers? That guy? Anyways, I thought for this Hallows Eve, I would watch and rank every Halloween movie on a tier list. Here it is. I'm gonna try to be basing this list, just looking at all the movies objectively. I'm gonna try at least, but I will also be integrating just some of my own personal enjoyment of the films in there. So, let's get to it!
Halloween.
1978, the one that started it all. I feel like the 70s was just genuinely a really good year for movies, honestly. Let me get this out of the way first, though. The opening credits of this movie is way too long. Like, unnecessarily long. It's painfully long. The opening scene to in this movie is just, you know, iconic. Like, this whole, movie's iconic, honestly. Just in general to the entire horror, genre. And they did a really good job in this movie with making Michael just actually, terrifying. Just actually scary. This movie's cinematography with him is actually pretty great. There's this one shot with the laundry room and the end where he appears out of the darkness. I like that shit. I also like how in this movie, Michael, walks so slowly. It's goofy, but, it does actually make him more scary. Imagine how kind of goofy it would be if he was just, running towards you, sprinting. It would be terrifying, but, it's scary when he just walks slowly. Can you believe they face revealed him in the first movie of the franchise? Why would they do that? It was just a really weird decision to have the faceless killer be unmasked. Why? Let's get through all the bad stuff before we get to the stuff I actually like about this movie. For starters, the opening scene, this acting with the sister. Wow! That was an attempt at acting. Laurie and her friends do not look like high school students at all. They look like grown women with children. They seem like college students at the youngest. I like the scene where Laurie tries to trick Michael into thinking she jumped out of the window by leaving the thing open and then hiding in the closet. I think that was really smart. If only if they had realized that that's smart and maybe actually that tricked Michael instead of him just going straight to the closet. How did he know? I also didn't like this one comment that one of the character makes about ripping the little girl's clothes off. Why did they feel the need to write that in at all? I liked it when he died though. That was cool. Also, Jesus, how big is that fucking knife that he's just able to hang there like that? Damn. It also doesn't make sense to me just how fucking easily the glass breaks in this movie. I know it takes place in the 70s and it was released in the 70s, but come on, man. They just fucking tap the glass and it breaks. It's so fucking dumb. Also, the middle of this one just kind of drags on and on. It just goes on forever. And the whole Loomis side plot bores the fuck out of me in this one. It's so fucking boring. Whenever, he literally kicks off the plot, and Dr. Loomis is, one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise, but they just don't know what to do with him in this movie. Every time it switches from whatever Laurie's doing or whatever to Loomis's plot, I get bored the fuck out of my mind. You forget he's even in the movie, and then when he decides he wants to be in the movie, it's fucking boring. It's a snooze fest. Okay, now to the good stuff. The classroom scene in this movie is so iconic. It's way better than I originally remember it being. I like how the teacher's talking about fate in the scene and the inability to escape fate. And then she looks at the window and then sees Michael out there. Because he is her inevitable. I can't fucking speak today. Because Michael is Laurie's inescapable fate. I thought that was just neat. I like the part where Dr. Loomis scares away the kids. I thought that was really funny. Jamie Lee Curtis's acting in this movie isn't the best. I'm gonna say that now. She's a great actress now, but I know that this was probably one of the first things she was in, and her acting's not that great. But there are some moments where she is really great in this movie. I'll say that. I thought that Michael's breathing at the end of the movie, and thus the last thing you hear before the credits roll is just so fucking cool. And it's it was just a great way to end the film in general. Also, cat painting. cat painting. Anyways, this movie is not great, but it's not terrible. It's not bad at all in any way. So I think I'm gonna just give it a good old B tier. Yeah.
Halloween 2.
This movie is easily a lot better than the last one. Like, for starters, the opening sequence isn't fucking 3 hours long. Until the actual credits start, and then it's long again. But at least with this one, it's cool, because the pumpkin opens up to reveal it. Like, the opening credits are still super long. Like, at least the movie doesn't open with them this time. Like, I like that the movie actually opens with the ending of the first one. Like, I thought that was actually really cool. I love that. Like, this is just genuinely a really good sequel. Like, they actually, like, do a sequel should do and expand on the characters and the lore. I like that. Like, I love seeing, like, everyone in this movie, like, everyone in Haddonfield, like, reacting to the events of the first one, because it takes place, like, right after, so everyone's, like, just learning what happened. And speaking, like, continuing that thought, people go fucking crazy in this movie. Like, they, like, start, like rioting and shit. Like, there's chaos in the streets. Like, this movie feels like what Halloween Kills tried to be, like what Halloween Kills wanted to be. But it's just so much better here because Halloween Kills fucking sucks. Like, this town was not prepared at all for something like this to happen. And I like that. Like, the cops didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, they didn't know what they were supposed to do. That's why, like even the cops were freaking out. Like that's why that cop was speeding when he hit that kid. Which, by the way, why did the fucking, like, everything explode when that happened? Like, that's not how cars work. They do a good job of making Michael just fucking terrifying again in this movie. Like, it's great. Like, Laurie being afraid to, like, even go to sleep because she's scared that Michael's gonna get her when she goes to sleep is really done well, honestly. I will never not love watching Michael appear out of the darkness to attack someone. God, it's so fucking cool. I also don't think I like the synthware type music, like the Stranger Things, like, sounding music in this movie, because, like I know it was made in the 80s, but it doesn't take place in the 80s, so it just doesn't fit. Although I do kind of want to say this now, Michael crying blood in this movie after getting shot is probably one of the coolest fucking things in the whole series. Also, Loomis is way better in this movie than in the first one. He actually feels like a character. Crazy, right? Like, at times he actually feels like he's the main character. Like, we get to see him a lot in this movie. Like, he's a lot more interesting in this movie. Like, he's shown to be, like, regretful that he couldn't rehabilitate Michael at all. And he sees Michael just as his greatest failure. Like, he feels guilty for all the deaths. He feels like they're all on his hands because he can't stop Michael. So that's why he's, like, trying to go and fix his mistake. This was also the movie where they revealed that Michael and Laurie are actually siblings, which I thought it's such a great storyline, honestly, for them to be connected this way. Except for when they decide to drop that in later movies. Yeah, fuck you for that, bitch. You can also tell that this movie was supposed to be the end of the franchise. Like, the second movie was supposed to be the end, because they didn't hint at all to Michael still being alive after that. Like, Loomis going down with Michael at the end was fucking great and could have been just a good ending, honestly, if they didn't decide to make 11 more movies. The reason they wanted to end it here is because they wanted the Halloween series to be like an anthology series. So that's why Halloween 3 has nothing to do with anything else Halloween related. And then that movie fucking sucked and failed, so they brought Michael Myers back. What else? I like the scene where the sheriff saw Annie's body and it was just quiet as he just took in his daughter's death. I thought that was a really good moment. It's interesting watching them, like, try to track down Michael, but just like the last one, this movie kind of drags in the middle. I like when Michael walked through the glass like the Bucky meme. He smelled apple fritters. And I like that this movie opened up and ended with the Mr. Sandman song. That fits really well. Okay, now to the bad stuff. I really, really wish they delved deeper into Michael's, like, curse or whatever the fuck he has. Like, why he's the way that he is. Like, I wish they tried to, like, go further into that in this one. Especially because it was supposed to be the end and they didn't. Oh, they're just like, he's not a man. He's evil. Pure evil. Like, yeah, okay, man. Like, they did try to, like, go into, like, why Michael is the way he is in the sequels, but even then, it's not good there either. They also weirdly never had a scene where Laurie found out that Michael's her brother. You think that would be important for her to know in this one, right? Especially because this was supposed to be the last one! Like, did she figure it out on her own? Did she learn through, like, the connection they shared? Like, What? And what happened to this EMT guy? Did he die? They literally never explain what happened to him. He just kind of passes out on the wheel and is never mentioned or shown again. Like, he didn't fucking die. They didn't show Michael getting to him. He wasn't bleeding or anything. He slipped on blood and hit his head. He's fucking fine. Walk it off. I like this movie. I think it's a good movie, but it definitely has its problems. I like it more than the first one, but I think I'm still gonna just have to put it in B tier.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
S tier. Actually, no, above S tier. SS tier. Fuck yeah. This may be the greatest movie to ever face the planet, you know? 2 more days till Halloween. This might actually be one of the worst movies ever made, just in general. But like, that's kind of why it's so good. The intro is still really long. Like, come on, guys. Fucking with the intros. It doesn't need to be that long. I like the pumpkin, though. I thought the pumpkin was really cool. I like that they put the, like, they had a cameo of the original Halloween movie in this. Like, they, like, in this movie's universe, Halloween's actually just a movie. I like that. I like the Silver Shamrock commercial. The silly tune. I cannot believe how much I fucking hated it the first time I watched this movie. But then I watched it with some friends, and I saw the light. This movie is also ahead of its time. Like the scene where the main character punches the hole through the robot, and then like goo and wires come out. Like, it's exactly what happened with me and my goth girlfriend a couple days ago. There's copper wires and there's copper wires and there's. That's about all the good I can say about this movie. How is this a real movie? Oh my god, how is this a real movie? It's so bad. The main character, awful, terrible. He's so fucking boring. He's just a dude. Like, in the 80s? You're just gonna have some dude be the protagonist in the 80s? This movie's whole, like, love subplot, if you can even call it that, is generous calling it even that. It's fucking terrible. Like, the main character literally tries to sleep with every woman he sees. He literally sleeps with the main love interest and then starts hitting on other women. Like, I know that's how he's supposed to be written. It just still fucking sucks. The main love interest is also terrible too. She's terribly written. She's awful. She's literally there to start the plot, and then the only reason she's still around is just so the main character has someone to fuck. She also, like, dies, I guess, off screen and then turned into a robot. Like, wow, they could have been, like, fucking care enough to give her an on-screen death or anything like that. Like, it was supposed to be, like, a big reveal, but wow, did they not care at all about this character? By the way, that scene fucking sucks, too. That is a terrible scene. Probably the worst scene in the entire movie. It comes out of nowhere and it just makes no sense. Like, wow, she's a robot? No way! Oh my god, she's trying to attack him! Oh my god! She's hurt! Oh my god, her arm's attacking him now! No way! Oh no, she's dead! Oh my god, now her headless corpse is attacking her! You see where I'm going with this? It's fucking terrible. Like, their romance comes out of fucking nowhere too. It's awful. It's dog shit. Like, they're just chilling in the hotel room, no chemistry between them, no tension, and then they just start fucking. Like, why? This movie's romance plot is worse than Top Gun's. And that's saying something. If you're gonna watch this movie, watch it with some friends. It is miserable to watch alone. And don't watch it more than once. I watched this movie like 4 or 5 times, and look at me. I'm a fucking crazy person. It's a miracle I'm even still here. The villain also sucks too, I guess. Like, his motivations made no sense. Like, it's supposed to be based around the whole, like, actual, like, lore of Halloween. Like, the lore! But, like, it's still fucking stupid. Like, oh, the planets are aligned. Let's kill some children because of that. Like, what, man? Just what? Like, why? You're just... Like, I know that Michael is just pure evil, but he's done well. This guy, he's just evil just because he's evil, you know? Fuck that guy. Do not fuck that guy. Like, I get that this movie was meant to be written as, like, a satirical piece against, like, the evils of capitalism and commercialism. It's just, it fucking sucks. Like, I love me a good old taking down an evil corporation storyline. It just fucking sucks. So much fuck here, especially because they lose at the end. Like, I like it whenever they lose at the end of a movie if it's done well, but it's not done well here. And did they really think it was gonna do well in the 80s? It's just such a shame that this movie was what it was. Like, they threw a half-assed idea into production without fully taking the time to really write it and think about it, and this is what we got. Imagine if this movie was good, and it did good. Imagine what other kind of anthology stories they could have been able to tell with the Halloween franchise. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, SS tier.
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
The first one of the series to not have a long-ass, annoying-ass intro. I know it's iconic for the series, but like I'm honestly just glad they didn't put it in this movie. This movie takes place 10 years after the first one, and it also came out 10 years after the first one. I like it when they do that. Like, they did that with It, and I like it. And in this one, the music isn't synthware. It's the original piano theme. It's so much better. Like, in this one, it would have made sense to have the synthware music, honestly. Not the last one. This movie, it's actually pretty decent. Like, Jamie, she's actually a really good actress. Like, this is some of the best child acting I've seen since, like, War of the Worlds or some shit. And they brought back the man, the myth, the legend and fucking self, Dr. Loomis! By the way, rest in peace, Donald Pleasance. You were a terrific actor, man. This movie continues the dynamic set up in the previous movies between Loomis and Michael, and I think it's done really well here, too. Michael himself is like, he seems to be more powerful in this one. Like, at parts, it just seems like he's fucking teleporting to places. Like, it seems like they tried to, like, they were like, oh, Friday the 13th did well because that character could teleport. Let's make Michael teleport too. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me, but like, I didn't really care. Like, it's not that big a thing. Like, maybe when he was in the coma for 10 years, he became more powerful, or maybe the more people he kills, he gets more powerful. I don't fucking know. This movie also tried to set up like parallels between Jamie and Michael. Like, Jamie was gonna like be the next Michael Myers. Like, they were setting that up. Like, and they had some really great parallels between them, and I like that. I like that everyone in this movie isn't a fucking idiot too. Like, literally any other movie, they probably would have had like people be like, Michael Myers, he's not gonna come back. He's been 10 years. Like, they could have done that and they didn't. And it's more realistic in that way, and I like it. Like, everyone's paranoid that something like that could happen again, and so they're not taking the chances. I like that. I'm glad they did that. In this movie, there's also not that many like kills, but whenever there is a kill, it's pretty creative the way they do it. Like, there's this one scene where Michael tricks this one bitch into thinking that he was another dude sitting in the chair with a shotgun on his lap. By the way, she fucking sucks. I'm glad she died. She was terrible. She's a terrible. She sucks. And then Michael fucking impales her with a shotgun. That was fucking cool. Like, there's a whole cheating subplot in this movie, which wasn't really done well at all, really. But it's probably the weakest part of the movie for me. But at least at the end, the dude tried to, like, make it right instead of them just, like, him being a piece of shit the whole time and then them killing him off, and we're like, yeah! And cheering Michael on as he kills him. This dude actually goes fucking toe-to-toe with Michael. He's one of the few people that actually tries to square up with Michael in the entire series. Of course, he dies really fast, but, like, at least, come on, Marie, no, he did it. He tried at least. This movie also has one of the funniest scenes in the entire series. I'll just let you watch for yourself. Dude, I honestly, first time I watched this movie, I rewinded this like 80 times. That's fucking hilarious. The ending is also really cool too, with like all the cops just like unloading into Michael. That sounded so wrong. Let me rephrase that. Or they just like shoot him a lot. I don't know. There's not. I can't really find a good way to phrase it. And then there's actually like a dope ass twist ending where Jamie tries to like kill her foster mom, which kind of falls short because they're like trying to have parallels. So why try to kill the mom then? Why not try to kill the sister like Michael killed his sister? I think it just would have been a better parallel, honestly. Especially because the sister fucking dies in the next one anyways. Like, they kill her at the beginning and then forget that happened until the very end of that one. Okay, I'll get to that. I like the connection that Jamie and Michael share in this one. Like, they share some kind of like psychic connection because they're like, you know, related by blood. And I think it was just kind of done well. It was cool. But the main character, Rachel, I'm not too crazy about her. She didn't really impress me as a main character. Like, she's just kind of like a bitch at the beginning. Like, she just fucking hates, like, Jamie, and then, like, just forgets that she hated Jamie, and then just started speaking better. Like, what did they want to do with her? My only other complaint with this movie is that I don't like Michael's mask in this one. It just looks silly, it looks goofy. Like, I know it's supposed to be, like, brand new and clean, but, like, it just doesn't look cool. It doesn't look that cool, honestly. I still like this movie a lot, though, so I think I'm gonna have to give it a comfortable, solid A tier. If this movie didn't have that one scene of Michael smashing his fucking face into the windshield, it would have been B tier. That alone makes this movie an A tier.
Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
This one, just like in Halloween 2, picks up right after where the last one left off, and I like that. And this one, Michael also just seems like a lot more powerful, a lot more intelligent. Like, it seems like he's actually like conscious and aware of what he's doing, which is cool. There's also a year-long time skip from, so like the movie picks up like right after, but then there's like a time skip. Like, it shows how Michael survived and then time skip, which I don't mind actually. I like that. Like Jamie, like because of everything that happened, Jamie's now like mute, which I kind of like. I think that was a cool thing that they did. Like, they don't exactly explain why she's mute, but you can just like assume that it was the trauma from the last one and the connection that her and Michael's like share, like probably messing with her brain. Her and Rachel are actually like, they actually act like siblings now, like, cause like Jamie's the adopted sister, so like Rachel's actually like a sister to her now, which is nice. But it doesn't matter because they fucking kill her off like immediately. Like, why? What the fuck? That's a terrible decision. Like, if you wanted to kill her off, I don't mind characters getting killed off. You just have to figure out how to do it, and this is not how. They should have killed her off at the end, dude. Like, why at the beginning where it doesn't fucking matter? It doesn't matter at all, because she dies at the beginning, so you're like, oh no! And then you forget that she died until the very end. Like, what the fuck? Though the actual end of this movie is actually really good, though, I'll say that. Like, the entire third act of this movie is really strong in this thing. Like, from the writing, to the intensity, to the action, to the creative kills. Like, this whole movie's climax is just really great. Loomis is still fucking great in this movie, just gotta say. Except for the part where he was like really weird and... My green screen just moved on its own. Though I didn't really like the scene where like Loomis was really weird and creepy towards Jamie. Like, why did they do that? Like, Loomis is a sweet old man. I feel like that was just out of character for him. Like, I know he was trying to like find out about Michael, but like, she's a little girl, man. You can't be like that to a little girl. Though they do start to like unravel the mystery behind Michael Myers, like kind of at least, which is cool because like they introduce this character that like has to do with it, but they don't even like really expand upon him until the next one. The movie's also kind of funny, like the scene where Michael fucks with the other dude named Michael and fucks with his car. I thought that was really funny. I also thought it was really funny when all the cops pulled up on Tina and she thought she was in trouble. That made me go hoo hee ha ha hoo hoo. Although Tina, I think she's a great character. I just wish they like didn't kill her off. She was great. Like, she was actually like the first character I ever actually felt bad for when they died. Oh, and the incompetent cops. Oh, the incompetent cops, my beloved. Dude, they were so funny in this movie. Like, they knew they sucked. They knew they were incompetent, and it was funny, okay? It was funny. I was so sad when they died. Also, Cat. I think the scene in the barn where Michael kills the people with like the farm tools, I thought that was really creative. And then he kills the incompetent cops. Nah! Michael is also like a fucking menace in this one. Like, he's just such a menace. Like the scene where he's chasing around like the three of them, like the three characters in like the field with a car, like he was just being an asshole. like bro was just trolling. And then I like it when they hit the tree with the car and it explodes for no reason, because that's how cars work. I feel like with these two movies, I've had less to say about them, but I did like them a lot more than like the previous ones. So this one just gets an A tier.
Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Wow! This movie sucks! Let me at least try to get all the good stuff out of the way before I get to the bad stuff. Like, first of all, Paul Rudd's in this movie. Look at the man! Bro, Paul Rudd is so hot. I'm straight. I'm comfortably straight, but he's a fucking hot-ass bitch. He's so sexy. Dude, he never aged. He's an American treasure. And Dr. Loomis returns! Look at my boy! He's back! It's also nice to see, like, Loomis, like, just living out his life peacefully now after all the bullshit that happened. Like, he's retired, and it feels deserved that he got retired. Of course, he gets roped back in to all the Michael bullshit, because he can't escape it. It's his fate. But, like, it was just nice seeing him just happy for a little bit. And he is as beautiful as ever. Mwah! The kills in this movie are really cheesy and goofy, but like they are kind of creative and they're brutal as shit, which I love. I like the fact that Tommy named the baby Steven. I thought that was really funny. I also think the whole like tribe, like the cultist tribe thing was cool. It was dumb, lame, and done kind of poorly, but it was so cool at least. It was kind of cool. Just not done very well. My favorite part is when Kara, the main character, fucking Gmod ragdolls out of the window. I thought that was really funny. I like the part when I like the end where they like inject Michael with the whatever the fuck that was, and he like goes insane. Like, I mean, Michael was technically already like insane, like deranged, but like I'm guessing that it made him like conscious enough to like go just fucking schizo mode. I like that. That was pretty cool. And I like that. I'm glad that they put a little in memory of Donald Pleasance in the credits. I like that. That was sweet. Not to the bad stuff. There's a lot of it. They literally kill off Jamie in the first 20 minutes. Why? She was set up so much just for them to fucking kill her off? That's so fucking dog shit. Also, she has a baby in this one. She is 15. Like, that's kind of fucked up. Especially because in the producer cut, it's said that it's so that like Michael actually her. Like, why? That is so out of character for Michael. Like, completely. Like, I know he was being controlled by someone, which is also out of character. Like, how do you control Michael Myers? And the way they kill her off, too, is so brutal. Like, for no reason, dude. Like, it's just a terrible way to end her story. Like, just in general. Like, I'm pretty sure the original intent for her was to survive and then come back, like, at the end and come back in a sequel to face off against Michael with all the other characters. But, like, that would have been cool to do. Why not? Also, the dad in this movie is fucking miserable. Like, I know he's supposed to be, like, the piece of shit asshole dad, but, like, it's not even, like, in a good way. Like, it's just terribly written. Like, every scene with him is miserable, and I hate it. I always want to just turn the fucking movie off every time he appeared on the screen. Like, this movie's just so poorly written. Like, if Tommy was keeping tabs and, like, trying to know everything about Michael, you would think he would have been in the other movies, right? Like 4 and 5? Where the fuck was he in those movies? He was in Haddonfield. Like, how did Tommy find out where Jamie was at all? Like, it makes no sense. Michael also suddenly just, like, has a mark now, I guess, whenever he kills someone, even though he only does it once. And Loomis is like, oh yeah, that's his mark. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He doesn't leave a mark? There's also this stupid fucking scene where the nurse calls security on Paul Rudd because he's screaming that his doctor needs a baby. Like, ah, yes, any nurse would do that. Ah, yes, my baby had an accident. My baby needs a doctor right now. Call security. Like, what? That's so fucking stupid. Also, why have another person named Strode be the main character too? Like, Kara's just Laurie 2.0, except worse. Like, Laurie would be like, when I was watching it for the first time, I thought for sure that Laurie faked her death. It was gonna come back after she saw that Jamie was killed by Michael. Like, why did they kill Laurie off screen? That was the absolute worst decision other than killing Jamie in the first 20 minutes. Like, literally in the other movies, Laurie says that she faked her death, but 4, 5, and 6 aren't even canon to those movies. Like, with Kara, like, she's still shown to, like, be smart, but with, like, better people skills, and she's, like, actually looks her age. Also, Wynn, the voice man in this movie, fucking terrible. Fucking awful character. Terribly written. Like, he appeared as, like, a very, very minor character in the very first one. In one scene, he had, like, maybe a single line. Why even bring him back? Just make a new character. What? Like, he doesn't have any motive. He's just, like, I don't know if they explain his motive. Either I wasn't paying enough attention, or he just doesn't have one other than just being evil. You know, wanting to study Michael or whatever. Like, what? Also, Michael's still cool in this movie, but, like, he just doesn't even feel like the main threat in this one. Like, I don't know, like he is the main threat. It just doesn't feel like he is the main threat, though. Like, it's weird. Like, I mean, like, he's also not the main threat. Like, the voice man is the main threat, like the bad guys. But, like, it's Michael Myers. What? Like, Michael's just an inconvenience in this movie. Whenever he shows up, they're like, oh, fuck, this guy again. Like, really? This movie just sucks. It's going F tier. Like, holy shit. F tier.
Halloween H20, 20 years later.
It feels like with this movie, they actually got people who know how to make a good movie to make this movie. This movie's actually fucking good. Like, this movie's amazing. Like, I don't even know what they were thinking with the last one. It's like they were like, oh, damn. Even Paulithan Rutterson couldn't save us from this one. Bring Jamie Lee Curtis back. Like, it feels like they knew what to do with this movie. Like, it feels like they wanted to make a Halloween movie, you know? Like, they opened up this movie with Mr. Sandman again, like they did with Halloween 2, and it works just as well here, if not better. Like, this movie's whole opening sequence is honestly just really good. Like, I'm so glad they brought Laurie back into this franchise. Like, she's the true protagonist. She is the she is, she is the main character of these movies. And it is deserved. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Jamie a lot, but like, they didn't go anywhere with her. They just killed her off for no reason. Her story was fucking terrible the way it ended. This movie is the start of many reboots, so 4, 5, and 6 are no longer canon. But like, so this timeline now goes 1, 2, now this one. And you know what? I think it's fine. It works fine. And you know what? This movie fucking slaps. So that's why I don't even care. Besides, the last 3 movies just weren't as great as this one. Not nearly as great. Jamie Lee Curtis's acting is fucking fantastic in this movie too. She just shows that she was meant to play Laurie. She is Laurie. Like, she's just so good in this movie, and she's also super well written. Like, she has that like way too overprotective mother thing going on in this movie, and I think it's really good. It works really well for her character. Like, it just works so well with Laurie having that just like constant fear of Michael returning, because like they never found the body. So like, she's always like, okay, he could still be alive. They never found the body. So they have that dynamic between her and her son, who just wants to just be free from the overprotectiveness and just live like a normal teenager. Like, this movie, like, it does the same thing it did with the first one, with the classroom scene and them talking about whatever they're talking about in class and how it correlates to the rest of the story. Like, they were talking about Frankenstein in this one. I thought it was really good. Also, this movie gave us Ronnie! I wish Ronnie came back. Ronnie was the best character in this entire movie. Oh, Ronnie, my beloved. Also, Mr. Brennan is really great in this movie. I wish they just didn't kill him off so fucking like fast. Like, he's really funny. He's really sweet, and you can tell he actually really cares for Laurie and just wants to understand, you know? He wants to be there for her and help her. And as much as I love Ronnie and Mr. Brennan, like, they're probably my just biggest complaint with the movie. Like, they're just so underutilized. Like, they didn't really get a chance to be fleshed out. Other than that, this movie's still pretty great. Like, the moment when, like, Laurie and Michael see each other for the first time in 20 years is so fucking good. Like, it's such a great moment. I love that after they get away from Michael and they can easily get away from him, Laurie does the generic, like, action hero movie bullshit where, like, she looks back and then looks back and goes, "Go without me, I'll be fine." But it's actually like really good here. Especially when like they start playing the original Halloween theme and then she grabs an axe to go back to fight him because she knows that she won't be able to escape him. And she screams, "Michael!" Dude, goosebumps. Like, they actually continued the dynamic that they set up between the two in the second one. Like, instead of just, you know, completely abandoning that idea and, you know, having 3 movies with completely different protagonists, you know, I thought it was a really good idea that they decided not to do that. Like, this movie could have been a really good end to the franchise if they weren't already planning a sequel to this movie and then dropped the ball with that one. But, like, that's not this movie's fault. It did the best with what it was given, and it went above and beyond with it. With all of that, I have to give this movie an S tier. It just does so well. Like, this is probably my favorite movie in the series, I'm not even gonna lie.
Halloween Resurrection.
This movie sucks. Like, wow, it is so boring, dude. Like, my god, this might actually be my least favorite Halloween movie. Like, this movie also has just the worst opening credits I've ever, like, just in general, like, this, like, out of all the movies, this movie has the worst opening credits. It's literally just a black screen with the names for 1.5 minutes. You're just sitting there for 1.5 minutes watching the credits of this movie. Like, what the fuck? You couldn't do anything cool at all? You couldn't figure out what to do with that? And they make the same mistake they made with Halloween 6 by killing off the main character from the previous film in the beginning of the movie. That's right, they fucking kill off Laurie in this movie. And it's terrible. She gets killed off in the first 15 minutes of the movie. She has 5 lines in the entire film. Like, I heard that it was actually Jamie Lee Curtis who wanted Laurie to be killed off in this one. But I don't know if this is how she wanted to be killed off. I can't imagine it is. Like, why not just have her for one more movie, have that be the end of the franchise, and have Laurie go down with Michael or something? Like she's literally on the poster for the movie. Like, she's on the box art. Like, why have her there if she dies in the first 15 minutes? She's not even a central character. Like, this movie could have been really cool. Like, she feels like guilty. Like they could have played more into the guilt of her accidentally killing an innocent man, because like Michael tricked her into thinking that, you know, he was this guy, whatever. So Lori accidentally kills the wrong person. She killed a father of 3, and like she feels guilty about that, sure, but like they don't really play into that at all, because they didn't have time to. Like, imagine if this movie was set in like the insane asylum and Laura was just like preparing for Michael to come back, you know? And like they played into that guilt of her killing an innocent person, and then, you know, it could have been an epic finale, but it wasn't. Like, this could have been the end of the franchise, because this is the 8th fucking movie! Like, why is this movie even called Resurrections in the first place? Like, because Michael comes back? He didn't die. Like, why is it called Resurrection? It is so hard to even care about what's going on in this movie at all. Like, mainly because I was, like, petty that they killed off Lori. But still, it's just, like, none of the characters are likable or, like, even interesting in the slightest. Like, this movie is so boring and hard to get through. Like, I would even, like, torture my worst enemy with making them watching this movie. Like, it feels like they were trying to, like, modernize the series by having teenagers take, like, the main stage. But, like, God, I fucking hate it when they do that so much. Like, they just don't realize that people liked Lori and Michael's story. Like, their dynamic is fucking great. Like, and they just, like, they're like, oh, fuck that shit. People want to see teenagers. They want it to be relatable. Like, no one fucking cares about some random teenagers that we're never gonna see again, that were only introduced in this movie. Kill them all off. Like, the characters don't even do anything that's, like, likable or interesting at all. This movie is so boring. Like, I don't even care for the most likable character in this movie, Freddy. Like, it literally feels like tried too hard to make him likable. Like, they just went too far. Watching this movie honestly feels like you just, like, came downstairs while, like, your older sister is watching a Nickelodeon show. So you just sit there and you watch it, you don't understand what's happening. It's just, you're just sat in the middle of watching an episode of a Nickelodeon show. That's what this movie feels like. Like, it's so cheesy 90s in not the good way. If I had to say anything good about this movie, I guess I like the scene where Freddy dresses up as Michael to try to scare the kids, but then he encounters the real Michael, thinking that's just one of his, like, team dressed up as Michael to also try to scare the kids, and then he yells at him, and then Michael just kind of turns around like, damn, aight then. But yeah, F tier, this movie blows so much ass.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
I know these movies are controversial, and this is gonna be a hot take, but I like this one. Everyone hates the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. Everyone. But I like this one. Please don't firebomb my house. Like, I like that it, like, delves deeper into, like, Michael's childhood and, like, what caused him to turn into what he became. And that's why people don't like this movie, because he's supposed to be, like, this faceless killer. But, like, I like that storyline too, but, like, I kind of like how dark this one is. Like, this movie is a bit of a slow burner, but I like slow burner movies, and I think this one is done pretty well. Like, I feel like a lot of people also don't like how just brutal this movie is, but, like, it's literally about a serial killer's upbringing, and, like, how brutal and dark it is, and I liked it. I like dark movies. Like, I love Joker. Joker is a fucking fantastic movie, I think. Michael's whole thing with the mask was actually really interesting, and I liked it. It's, like, his way of hiding from the world, and him to, like, whenever he puts on the mask, he truly becomes Michael Myers, I feel like. Like, I feel like it's like a Spider-Man situation where, like, when he puts on the mask, he truly, like, feels himself and he's able to be himself. I feel like it's kind of like that. Also, the scene after he puts on the mask for the first time in 15 years, chilling. Actually really good. Like, the mask in this movie looks fucking sick. Just, just in general, this movie is fucking sick. Like, Michael himself, he's fucking terrifying in this movie. He's, like, giant. He's 7 feet tall. And me being short, I'm scared of tall things. You know, unless if it's like a goth GF mommy, but you know. Like, this movie does a really good job of just showing the absolute, like, fear that resonates with being hunted by a fucking serial killer. Like, this movie is, like, it's thrilling. Like, this movie is intense. What else? I like that they brought back the original Halloween theme in this movie and kept it faithful. I think Malcolm McDowell does a pretty good job at playing Dr. Loomis here. Like, he'll never be the Dr. Loomis, but he does a pretty good job with what he was given. And you could tell that Dr. Loomis still cares for Michael in this one. Like, in the first one, Loomis doesn't hesitate. He just fucking busts a cap and fucking in Michael's ass, like, just immediately as soon as he sees him. But in this one, like, Loomis hesitates to shoot Michael at all. Like, he tries to yell at him to stop. and then like fires like non-fatal shots to him, but like he didn't want to, like he hesitated. Like he just doesn't want to kill the boy that he's been trying to help for 15 years. Also, they have Danny fucking Trejo in this movie. Like, what a fucking treasure that man is. It was really sad when they killed him though. Like his death scene was really sad. I like that they brought back the Mr. Sandman song again for the 3rd time. That wasn't meant to be sarcastic. I actually liked it. But it's like slowed down more in this one, and it fits really well in this movie. And I kind of fuck with this new take on Laurie. Like Laurie, she's great in this one, and she's played fucking amazingly by Scout Taylor Compton. Like Laurie in this movie, she's actually like a teenage girl. Like she actually acts like a teenage girl, you know? And this movie doesn't even drag on in the middle like most of the other Halloween movies do. Like it's interesting from start to finish in my opinion. Like I like that Michael, he wasn't just trying to kill Laurie right off the bat. Like he just wanted to be reunited with his long lost sister. But Laurie just doesn't understand. It was just like a tragic story. Like Michael just wanted his sister back, bro. Also, remember Jamie from 4, 5, and 6? Yeah, they actually bring back her actress from 4 and 5 to play Annie in this one. And she's fucking great in this movie. If I had to find something to complain about in this movie, I guess it would be Loomis. Like, I don't really like what they did with Loomis. Like, they tried to make Loomis, like, especially in the next one, just, like, kind of greedy. Like, he wrote a book on Michael's life and all that. Just, like, trying to cash out on the strategy. Like, I didn't really like that. Like, I feel like he wouldn't do that. Other than that, I think this movie is fucking great. So this could be really controversial, I know, but I think I'm gonna have to give this movie an S tier.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
This may be my most controversial take yet. I actually like this one. Like, not to say I liked it as much as the first one, because it definitely has its issues, but I liked it nonetheless. To start, I kind of like the whole white horse thing. Like at least in like the director's cut, they explain it at the beginning, because like here, let me just like read this quote to you.
White horse, linked to instinct, purity, and the drive of the physical body to release powerful and emotional forces like rage with ensuing chaos and destruction. Excerpt from The Subconscious Psychosis of Dreams.
So, in other words, the white horse is a representation of the evil, murderous, like, force that's inside of Michael. And then at the end, Laurie gets it too. It's a cool way to like keep the movie more grounded than like weird cult stuff, you know? And Laurie's whole like trauma story is really, really well done, I gotta say. Like it's really just like sad to see, and it's like interesting to watch Laurie's descent into madness in this one. Like Laurie and Michael have some great parallel moments in this. Also, Scout Taylor Compton in this movie fucking crushed it! Like I thought she was good in the last one. Oh my gosh, she was phenomenal here. Laurie's whole her whole story in these movies is really good. Like, it's tragic, but it's beautiful from start to finish. And the ending of her story, I think, is really good. Like, it makes sense. Like, the trauma made her delve into just absolute fucking madness. And the climax of this movie is really great. Like, you know, Loomis decides he actually wants to be in this movie, and he shows up and tries to make things right with Laurie and Michael. And then, like, Michael, like, saying die to him as he stabbed him was a little goofy, but it was still kind of cool. Like, that was his first word, like in however many years. And then like the shot of them just laying like on the ground while the song Love Hurts plays was a beautiful looking shot. This whole movie's cinematography was actually just great in general, really. I'm such a sucker for good cinematography. I like that they brought back the Rabbit and Red Lounge from like the very first one. Like it didn't have any really too much like significance in the first one, but they brought it back in this one. And it still doesn't have that much significance, but like they try to play into like a Frankenstein type story where Dr. Loomis is Dr. Frankenstein and Michael is his monster. Like there's like a Frankenstein thing that the guy who's in charge of the rabbit and the guy who runs the strip club dresses up as Frankenstein, and it's supposed to be a reference to the thing that they're doing. There, Jesus Christ, it's so hard to speak. And also there's a scene where Loomis is like at a book signing and someone comes up to him and says, "Your monster killed my baby." I thought that was great. Other than that, they completely ruined Loomis as a character. Like, what the hell? They just turned him into a fucking celebrity douchebag. Like, why? You had no reason to do that. It wasn't even interesting to see. It was just ruining a character. Like, Dr. Loomis is supposed to be the kind old Dr. Loomis who will do anything to stop Michael, like, to stop his creation, even, like, to go against the law to do it, just to do the right thing. Not be a motherfucker who just wants to get rich and famous. What? Like, I know it's supposed to be a new take on the character, it's just not a good take on the character at all. What else? I didn't like the weird, creepy, pedophile, necrophiliac, fucking EMT guy at the beginning. Why did they at all feel the need to include him? He was just creepy. Like, why? It was just disturbing. I also don't get why both Michael and Laurie see their mother, like their birth mother. Like, Laurie didn't even know her birth mother at all. Like, she probably doesn't know what she looks like, so why was she seeing her? Like, I don't know, it just didn't really make sense to me. Like, it's so cool, but it just doesn't make that much sense. But other than that, I still like it. And I like that Weird Al was in this movie. I just think he was a nice addition. I complained a lot about this movie, but I still really, really like this, so I think this little guy can live comfortably up in A tier.
Halloween 2018.
The most recent of the reboots, and the beginning of the end. And it only goes downhill from here. Let me get what I like about this movie out of the way first. I'm glad that they brought back the original intro, and they actually, kept it short. I like that they did that. I like the idea of the 3 generations of Strodes going up against Michael. Like, I just thought that was neat. I like the parallels between Allison and Laurie with the classroom scene, like between the original and this one. Laurie, by the way, is a fucking badass in this one. Like, she's a broken person, just unable to let go of the past, and I like that. And I don't know if they, meant to do this or not, but there's a part where Laurie's, looking for Michael, and Michael tricks her into looking in the closet when he was hiding by the window, so she wouldn't check by the window, kind of like how in the first one when Laurie tried to trick Michael into looking, by the window instead of in the closet. And Laurie falling off the balcony and disappearing parallels how Michael fell off in the first one and then disappeared. I like that. And then, of course, Laurie appearing out of the darkness to attack Michael with a knife, just like how he did to her in the first one, was so fucking badass. Honestly, the entire ending to this movie is really fucking great. Like, it's just so badass. Oh, and I like that Laurie actually called Michael the Shape in this one. Like, that is the only time they had ever called Michael the Shape in the movies, and I thought that was really cool. I also like the idea that they kind of proposed where a monster created another monster, being Michael created Laurie, made Laurie into a monster, and then Laurie almost continued that trend with Karen. Also, the scene where Michael puts on the mask for the first time in 40 years is really fucking cool and great. Speaking of the mask in this one is fucking iconic. Like, it is sick as hell. Also, since this movie is a modern movie, I wanted to check if it had a post-credit scene, since all movies nowadays have something like that. And all it was at the end was just Michael breathing to show that he's still alive, which I just thought was really fucking neat. Yeah, okay, time for the bad stuff now. Why is this movie called why is it called Halloween? Yeah, no shit, it's called Halloween, but why is it just called Halloween? It is the sequel to a movie that is called Halloween, because they decided to make the worst decision possible and make Halloween 2 non-canon. What the fuck? If you're gonna make Halloween 2 non-canon, why call this movie Halloween? It is the sequel to a movie that's called Halloween! Why not call it Halloween Returns or some shit? It would have been perfect to name the trilogy like that. You got Halloween Returns, Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. It would have been fucking great. It would have been perfect. Why didn't they do that? Why is it called Halloween? And it just pisses me off so much that they took out Laurie and Michael being siblings. That is literally what made their dynamic so interesting in the first place. I guess, Laurie was the one who got away. That's it? That's all you're gonna do with it? The relationship? Really? That's dog shit. Oh, and you can't tell me that Michael would have been badly burnt and or blind in this one because of what happened at the end of the second one. Who gives a fuck? He was just fine in 4, 5, and 6. They could have done it here. And he was just fine in the next one after being fucking burnt at the end of this one. They still have an interesting dynamic. It's just that, they barely even explored their dynamic in this one. Halloween 1 and 2 were literally made to be canon together. They were made to go together so well. Peanut butter and fucking jelly or cookies and milk. If you made Halloween 2 canon, it would have made Laurie's deep trauma and the way that she is a lot more reasonable, I guess. Also, the new Dr. Loomis, his entire character, terrible. Fuck that guy. He was written so poorly. The whole twist villain thing at the end, so fucking stupid. I guess it was more interesting than just making him another Loomis character, But like, come on, dude. It was just so bad. Like, this movie has a lot of problems, but I don't think it's that bad. But I also don't think it's that good. So I think I'm just gonna have to put it just in C tier.
Halloween Kills.
I just want to get this one out of the way. Let's get to all the good stuff, I guess, before the bad. I like the opening credits in this one. I think they were pretty cool. I like that this movie opens up with a flashback to 1978 to show how they actually apprehended Michael. Oh, so I was gonna say this now. I don't like it. In fact, I kind of hate it whenever they bring back like dead actors or whatever using CGI or deepfakes or whatever. But I gotta say, they did a really good job with Loomis in this one. Like, and I don't think they used deepfake technology or anything. They didn't use CGI. I think he was just like makeup. It looks really fucking good. They did a really great job with it. I like that they brought back some of the original cast from the original movie to play like their adult selves in this one. I kind of wish that they brought back Paul Rudd to play Tommy Doyle in this one, but to be fair, he does look way too good for his age to play the age he would be in this. Like, he's too sexy for his own good, man. It's tragic. The scene where Michael murders all the firefighters is actually sick as fuck, and this frame right here, this frame is probably one of the hardest images to ever exist. And Michael's mask in this one looks even cooler than it did in the last one. I think that the conflict between Allison and Karen is actually kind of done well. Like, Karen just looking at like last efforts, like final efforts to like go up against Michael, because like she's like, well, we set a perfect trap and it failed. So like, why go out and hunting, put ourselves at a disadvantage? We have to stay here and protect Lori. But Allison wants to go out and hunt Michael and just put an end to this, you know? Like, quickly just put an end to this so Lori can, you know, heal and all that. Like, I think both sides make sense, honestly. Like, it's very understandable in Karen's case, like, she's, like, giving up and she just wants to protect Lori. But Allison, like, they're both stricken by grief, and Allison's grief, she wants her, like, what? Like, she wants to go out and hunt Michael because she's Michael killed her dad, you know? So it's understandable on both sides. I think that the romance between Frank and Lori was kind of cute, though it came out of absolutely nowhere. Like, why? Like, it was so cute, though. I like that they were, like, trying to set up, like, a whole, like, Lori would go down with Michael, like, taking her down with her. Which would have been cool if they actually went through with it. I saw this movie in theaters when it came out, and I don't like it then, I don't like it now. But, like, I remember the ending not being that great at all. But the ending in this one is way cooler with, like, the phone shot and Lori walking away after saying, "I'm coming for you, Michael." That would have been cool if, you know, they actually led into the next movie with that. I don't want to go on a rant about that movie just yet. Like, I watched the extended cut of this movie for this video, so it was a little better. But like, come on, you can't end a movie this way and then open up the next movie taking place 4 years after this one and having nothing to do with this one. Like, okay, now for the dog shit. What is the point of the sheriff character? He does nothing in these movies. He literally does nothing. He's just there. He does nothing. Like, he appears in the next one too for literally a single scene. He's in the next movie for like 5 seconds and that's it. Like, he's such a useless character. Why did they even write him? This movie is also just so fucking boring too. Like, it feels like they wanted to like replicate like Halloween 2 with the chaos and the whole town wanted to like kill Michael, and then like, you know, like the whole hospital, but like they just completely dropped the ball with it. Like, this movie is so hard to get through. It's only interesting whenever Michael decides he wants to be in this movie and kill people. Like, how can I not talk about the whole evil dies tonight thing when it's like half the lines in the movie? Like, it's just so dumb. This movie is as dumb as everyone says it is. Like with the mentally ill, like the mental patient, like the mentally ill guy jumping off like the whole town for like driving him to suicide. That was fucking stupid. The scene where the lady gets hit in the hand with a car door by Michael and she fucking shoots herself because of it. Like, she somehow ends up shooting herself because of it. That was so fucking stupid. I also don't really get why I get Karen's point of view in this movie, but I also don't. Like, she was like, let the police handle this. You literally shot him and fucking tried to burn him alive and he survived. Like, Karen wasn't even like open at all to like trying to like make a plan to stop Michael. She was like, no, we're gonna sit here. We're just gonna sit here. Like, at least make a plan that keeps Lori off the front line so she can heal and take down Michael. You know, like, you could have sat there with everyone. You had the entire town there. You could have come up with a fucking plan. Like, the entire final act in this movie just falls right apart from the get-go. Like, I know that the whole, like, town being like, evil dies tonight, and then they become evil, killing, like, making the mentally ill guy to kill himself, and then they all die, because the evil dies tonight. Like, I know it's supposed to be irony, it's just stupid, it's really bad, it's fucking terrible, okay? Also, when Frank said, it's not about you to Lori, I was so fucking mad when I watched it and he said that. That literally goes against everything they just set up for the past 40 years. Like, what are you doing? Like, why do they not care about the dynamic between Michael and Lori? It's what makes the movie so special. Another thing is Cameron's character arc was really weak. It was terrible. It was bad. It was just so short. It just came out of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, I'm a good person now because I watched this one guy die. Like, oh my god, okay. Like, he does like a complete just 180 on who he was established to be in the last one. Like, he just completely changes as a character just out of absolutely nowhere. Like, his character arc just doesn't feel genuine or real. Also, this movie should have ended way earlier. Like, I was like praising the ending earlier, but it was just a cool like addition to the ending. Like, the actual ending fucking sucks. The actual ending of this movie is awful. Like, they either should have ended it with like Michael being surrounded by the townsfolk, like by like everyone in the town, and then opening up the next movie with him killing them, or ending it after he kills them instead of it ending after he kills Lori. Like, I thought that was really or Karen, I mean. Like, I thought that was really fucking stupid. Like, you're telling me that the police allowed Karen to go back into the crime scene where people were murdered just because she wanted to look out a window, and they somehow let also Michael onto the crime scene? These cops fucking suck in this town. No wonder why they can't catch him. Like, they seriously let two civilians, one of them being the murderer, back onto the crime scene. Like, this movie pains me. That's why I'm giving it a D tier. Wait, hold on. Are those silver shamrock masks from Halloween 3? Never mind, baby, this movie is S tier! No, it's still D tier. Fuck this movie.
Halloween ends.
F tier. F tier. I don't even want to have to like explain, because the more I think about this movie, the angrier I get about it. They literally, and like, this isn't even a Halloween movie. This movie, it's not even about like Michael Myers, really. Like, it doesn't even become a Halloween movie until the final 20 minutes of the movie. Them making it take place 4 years after the last one is such a terrible decision. Like, why introduce a whole new character with a whole new story? Like, it doesn't matter to Halloween. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to see the epic showdown between Michael and Lori, and even then, it's terrible. It's not even a good fight. Like, first of all, like, why was Michael just like doing nothing for 4 years? Why was he just kind of chilling under Haddonfield? He didn't even like accomplish his mission. Like, he didn't get Lori, he didn't get Allison, or any of the other people that were like trying to go up against him. Like why was he just dormant for 4 years? And why did he let like Corey go? Like, yeah, it's because he has the whole evil look in his eyes. But even, like, why? He's killed bad people before in the other movies. Why let Corey live? Like, why weren't Lori and Allison going after him? Like, Michael killed Lori's daughter. Michael killed Allison's mother. You'd think they would be pissed. Like, Michael killed both of Allison's parents. Why was he just so okay with not going after Michael? Like, he wouldn't even have been that hard to track down. He was accidentally discovered. Like, given what we know about Lori and how she acted in the last two films, especially with how she was at the end of the last film, she wouldn't stop at nothing to get him. Also, this is a little thing. Why is the font in this movie blue? Like, why is all the text blue? Blue is not a Halloween color, you dumb shits. Blue has never been a Halloween color. The last two movies, they had orange text. Why suddenly change it to blue in this one? It doesn't look good. It looks awful. It's terrible. It doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. Sorry, side tangent there. This movie just pisses me off so much. Alright, time to get into the movie's biggest issue. Corey. Literally the central focus of this movie is why it's so bad. Like, Corey's whole story from start to finish is fucking terrible. It's so stupid. Especially at the beginning where he fucking cartoonishly sends the kid flying off the railing. Like, yeah. Okay, dude, that's what would have happened, yes. Because he hit the door that hard. Because he's fucking superhuman. Like, Corey did nothing for this movie. Even at the end, like, he was so useless in this movie. He did nothing to drive the plot. Like, the only reason Michael went to Lori's house was to get his fucking mask back. That is the only thing Corey contributed to this movie. Like, Corey was played very well, I'll say, by Rohan Campbell. I think that's his name. Like, he was played very well. He's a very good actor, and he did great with what he was given. Like, it's just so unfortunate that Corey, being played so well, was the biggest issue of this movie. Like, his whole plot and character writing was just so awful. Like, I always like me a good descending in the madness movie, like Joker and all that. Like, I always like me a good movie like that. It's just fucking terrible here. This is ass. Like, this isn't even a Halloween movie. It's a Corey movie. It's a movie about Corey with Halloween characters in it. Like, it doesn't even feel like a Halloween movie until, like, the very, like, last 20 minutes or whatever. And even then, that feels so phoned in, too. Like, they didn't even want to do that. This movie's ending sucks, honestly. Like, it's so bad. Like, Corey's story ends, and it's terrible. Michael goes just to get his mask, but that's the only reason why he went to Laurie's house in the first place. And then the whole, like, final, like, it's like they were writing this, and they were like, oh my god, yeah, we forgot to actually write a Halloween movie. Oops. And just phoned in the ending. Like, the whole final fight is just so bad and lame, and is not at all what you would expect for, like, the final entry of, like, a 40-plus year long-running series. Also, probably the thing that pisses me off the most about this movie is people blaming Laurie for everything that happens. Like, how is it at all? What kind of mental gymnastics do you have to fucking jump through to think that it's Laurie's fault for everything that happened? She was in the hospital while everyone was hunting him down. She played no part in the angry mob. In fact, she tried to stop it. Like, Allison was the biggest dumbass in this movie, I swear to fucking God. She literally sat there and had someone tell her that he was the reason, like the guy telling her told her that he was the reason Michael escaped in the first place, and then she goes and blames Laurie, and then she blames Laurie for the mass hysteria that she took part in and that she helped create. Like, it's Tommy Doyle's fault. He started the mob, and then Allison joined that mob. It is just so terribly written. And I will never not hate the whole, like, oh, kill myself in front of the main character and blame it on them. Fuck you. Dude, it is so stupid whenever they do that. I hate it. I hate it so much. It is never done well. It's a terrible trope. I'm getting so heated about this movie, I'm sorry. Like, Laurie pulls out the fucking knife from his neck. Like, why would you do that? How would that help? This movie was a horrible end to the Halloween franchise. Like, what were they thinking? Like, this movie just feels so disconnected from the last one. Like, if I had to say, I guess, one good thing about this movie, I guess I'd say that, like, I like that Laurie used a knitting needle in the final battle. It's supposed to be a callback to the first one where she used a knitting needle against him. But Michael was like, no, not this time, buckaroo. And I guess at the line at the end where Laurie says evil doesn't die, it only changes shape. I think that was a fire-ass line, especially because Michael is called The Shape. Like, that was just, that was a fire-ass line. The only good writing in this entire movie, actually. F tier. F tier. It's unfortunate what they did with the series, really. Like, it started not great. Like, it was the 70s, so of course it was going to be cheesy. It started not great, and it ended in the worst possible way that it could. They do end up rebooting the series like they said that they might. I just want them to do it right with an end goal in mind. Like, please think about what you're writing. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This isn't the usual type of video I make. I just wanted to do something special for Halloween, and I really like, well, Halloween. You guys agree with my list? Let me know down in the comments below. Maybe we could talk about it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to go check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.